countdown. Okay, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
We ready right now.
Me, yes.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello. Welcome, everyone, to Blame Your Brother. We are back once again. It is Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are streaming the show live on YouTube. Go to blameyourbrother.tv. Come hang out with us as we record live Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Of course, we're Blame Your Brother. I'm one half of that duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of people, Mr. Glenn Jackson, 40%er, the spiritual midget, and I sit next to this gentleman. His name is John.
Hey, everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman. They do have a madman. Okay, he's a madman.
All right, so David and John, we will be coming at you tonight. Tonight, top female comic book characters. We're going to do the Mount Rushmore. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good list. We're going to get, dude, the internet's been buzzing. I put out there, like, who should be on the list. I don't know if they're going to be happy. So we'll see. I mean, are they ever happy with us? I mean, let's just be honest here. But we will get to that, and, you know, of course, some things happened this week, which we will get into. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started with this past weekend. John and myself were at my mother's memorial, and I want to thank John for coming out, leading the Amazing Grace hymn, and then offering a prayer as well, and he offered up some kind words about my mother, so I appreciate that. It was a good service. You know, it was for me, it was very emotional. It was like an emotional kind of closure I got that, you know, as I've talked about, my mother passed away on March 10th, and it all came quick. So it was good just to get those words out and kind of see everyone, hear everyone's thoughts on it. And it was definitely, it was a good day for me. So, you know, with everything behind it, it was good to see everybody. So,
yeah.
And you came with your wife, Robin.
Yes.
And then y'all, you were celebrating what?
It happened to be Robin's birthday the same day.
All right, so happy belated birthday to Robin if you're listening. Where did you guys end up? You end up going to?
We went to go eat some sushi, and then there's certain things that we just can't do with Asher, our oldest son, and it turns out eating sushi is one of those things. It's not that he doesn't like it. It just always falls apart whenever we get to a restaurant or something.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Other restaurants he seems to be fine with, but I mean, we probably tried to go to a sushi restaurant half a dozen times.
What happens? What's the breakdown here?
I don't know. He just doesn't want to be there, and it's just like
okay, just kind of miserable.
It's a train wreck. Yeah.
Well, you know, when we've all dealt with that, like especially you don't think about it as much once your kids get older, but when they were younger, yeah, there were some bad days, man, going to restaurants. There were times like, I'm done. I'm never going to a restaurant ever again. Yeah. Like, I'm out, like, of this game, you know. Even going shopping, I was like, I'm done. I'm never going shopping again. And as they get older, you kind of forget about how crazy it was. So you're still living in that nice little pocket of life right there. Well, that's good. So, you know, at least you took her out, and then you ended up, before we started, you told me you went to Joey's House of Pizza.
Well, we did, I had Tuesday off, and so, she's working from home, so while she's up, actually, her office is where we're shooting right now. Yeah. And so while she was upstairs working, I was decorating the house. I baked her a cake and got some pizza and some lasagna from Joey's House of Pizza.
Oh, man.
And so
let's talk about Joey's for a minute. Now, it's a pizzeria. They're from New York. They're Italian dudes. And when anyone ever asks me, out of towners ask, and they do, where's a good pizza place? There's one great pizza place. There's many good pizza places, but great pizza is Joey's House Pizza.
Yeah, hands down.
Now, it's only open for a few hours at lunch from 11 to 3 or something.
Like 11 to 2:30.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And when you get there, the line is out the door, and there's nothing being written down by the staff. There's a line of 60 people. You tell them what you want, they put it in, they call you out, you better get up there and get your pie. So I've always learned when I go, and it's a busy day, everyone gets pepperoni. So I make sure I get pepperoni and something else where I'll hear my order. Because so when So 18 dudes get pepperoni. They just call out pepperoni, sliced pepperoni. You better get up there and get it. With mine, see, I order special. That way I can go up there and get my own special stuff. So that's if you go to Joey's, that's my little inside baseball tech right there. But the food is just, oh my God, it's just to die for. It spoiled me for pizza forever. I mean, like
it's like it's a different food
Yeah.
when you go someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got Joey's Pizza, and then you've got like your Papa John's and your Domino's and stuff. That other stuff, it's a different food.
Right.
It's
on another level. So, well, that's good. You went there. I haven't been there since pre-pandemic, so I'm looking forward. Now, this week for me, John, was a big week for COVID related. I went and got my first shot, first dose of the vaccine.
How'd you manage to squeeze into that?
So here's a couple of hints. Number one, Murray County, where's where I got the shot at, I've discovered that they're taking everyone. They've said, they made a public announcement. You get here, you're good. Now, I went into work on Monday, I believe is when I got it. It was Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. And I get an email from my work. You know, I go back to work after not being there for 2 weeks. I got like 600 emails to go through. That's always a fun, that makes your day bright and awesome. So I check my email and I notice it says, hey, if you go get your COVID shot, you get time off to go do it. And I'm like, okay, well, let me go look at the guidelines. So they released new guidelines on Monday that if you worked in the business of infrastructure, so any utilities, so I work in sewer and water, so utilities, electricity, anything like that, they opened it up for it. And honestly, so I went, they don't ask for anything, dude. I mean, so you go onto the website, Nashville.gov or wherever it is, and then ask you some questions. You can answer yes to any question. I mean, if you want to just get the shot and you don't mind bending the rules a little bit, then you can answer yes to any shot. I mean, any of the questions. No one asks you a thing when you get there. They basically, you get your little appointment thing, you show it to them, you get in a line of cars, you pull up in a car. This was at Columbia State where I went. You get there, the National Guard's there. They're like, drive here, do this. They give you a little vaccine card. You go in there, get the shot, and then you have to sit in the parking lot for 15 minutes just to make sure nothing wonky's happening. And I left. And so I get my next one April the 15th, and I will be vaccinated. So I think the plan is, from what I've read about things online, Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, is that they're opening up pretty much April 1st. Everyone can get it. So I'm just telling everyone, go get the shot, because it's going to make your life easier, and it's just going to make things easier for everyone. Like, it's just going to be, I don't think we're quite grasping how exciting of a time this is going to be, being released back into the wild, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been bundled up for the last year. All of us have pretty much, played by the rules for the most part. We've all maybe stepped outside the line a little bit, but we've all been pretty good about it, which is rare. And so now we're ready. We did this, we got the vaccine, let's go. Things are going to jump, man. So they've already announced Pilgrimage Fest in Franklin is definitely happening. I think they even extended the hours in one day. So they're ready. Like, everything's ready. There's some big things happening down at Titan Stadium. They're going to be happening, some concerts. So it's about to happen. We're about to get back to where we're at. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. So I've said from the start, John, hotel workers, you guys should have been number 1 or 2. It's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, you'd think.
Hotel, retail workers, I'm talking to Walmart employees, those people should have been vaccinated day one. And it is really, to me, it's almost, it's a crime almost that these people were made to go to work and continue to work around this situation, knowing they could get work, knowing they could get sick from the job and possibly end up in a hospital because they've got to do it to make ends meet. I mean, it's like and society is it's so off, man. Just if you sit back and just think of everything's tied to money, dude. Everything. I've said that about everything in the world. I mean, like flights. Okay. Everyone gets nervous and like anxious when they're going flying, right? Because you're scared they're going to cancel the flight and you're going to miss a day. Now, why is that day important? I mean, people say it's time, but it's just not time tied into that day. It's the money that you're having to change parts of your trip. You had to get back to work on a certain day. Imagine you had a world where you could just go back to work whenever you wanted and money was an issue. If they cancel, you'd be like, all right, well, we'll just go back tomorrow. And, so it's like little things like that. And, everyone's just, they get you into it because a lot of people say burn the system down. Burn it down. That's fine if you're living by yourself, you're solo, you ain't got no one around you. Hell yeah, dude, burn it down. You have kids, you have a family, you have a house, you have all these things that you need your job to continuously get, and people are tied to it forever. And
before we got married and stuff, how many times were you driving home late at night and thinking, what if I just kept going?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah, and so, is it just our generation, or?
I don't know. I've thought about it. I don't know. I've thought about it quite a bit over the last few weeks.
I know I couldn't tell you how many times I've been like,
oh, yeah.
How much has tied me down here?
Right. One of the greatest regrets I have is me and John lived in an apartment together. We had cash. We had money. We didn't have a kid. We didn't have a wife. We didn't really have, our rent was dirt cheap. We didn't have utility bills. We could have done anything and gone anywhere. We did nothing really. Yeah. Nothing. We did nothing. We could have went to Europe. We could have done a backpack trip across Europe. We could have. We had the money to do it, and we just didn't. So it's a system that really traps people into the system. And they don't trap you. They trap what's valuable to you, your family. Yeah. Some people it's their house. Some people it's their cars. Some it's their collections. They tie you to these valuable things, and then you're stuck there and you can't leave. I applaud anybody that does. You read about some people are just like, I'm done with this rat race, and they bounce.
Look at Dave Chappelle just getting up and leaving.
Yeah, how much did he turn out? Millions, like more than just millions, like 50 million or something crazy like that. The average person's not going to do that because he had a lifestyle he was accustomed to, and he just said, well, I don't care. Like, I'll survive on this.
Well, plus the lifestyle that he chose, it's not overbearing on himself.
Right.
He lives in Ohio.
Yeah.
He doesn't live in New York. He doesn't live in California.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy to see where he lives. I've seen his specials, and he'll be like, him and David Letterman were on the Netflix series, and I was like, that's where this dude lives? This is wild. This is where he grew up. That is a rare thing. I would move. If I made it big, I would move, okay? And I wouldn't be living in Ohio, I don't think. Now, I don't know, but I don't think that's my top 10 choices to go live. My wife's been watching this show called Escape to the Chateau, and it's this British couple, and the guy was like a minor TV star, but nothing major, and his wife's a designer. And so what they did was they bought a chateau in France for like $250,000, probably $300,000 American. It's huge chateau. It's this castle, bro. It's like crazy, and it's kind of worn down a little bit, but not. And they're fixing it up, and they're doing weddings and things like that, and I'm just like, dude, I would love, oh man, it's weather time in here, man. We're getting hit with, what is that right now? Flash flood or tornado? we probably need to know that before we're.
Tornado in the area.
Warning
in the area.
Oh, okay.
Until 8:45.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know what we're going to do with that information. Are we in a good spot or not?
Considering we're upstairs, probably not.
Is this the episode where it all ends? Well, I guess we'll just keep going, right? Till your wife runs upstairs.
Yeah.
She's watching TV, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, we'll see what happens. But yes, so Escape to Chateau, and she just like, I want to go live in France. I go, I would go to France like tomorrow if I was afforded the opportunity, but I don't have it, so we're stuck here.
There's a spot in the island of Sicily, it's owned by Italy. And there's a town where you can buy a house for like $10,000, the property and all.
All right,
but you have to promise to renovate it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Then why are we not moving?
You
tell me. No,
I don't know how much some of these things are like, some of these houses are like bad shape, and it'll cost you like
how much?
Like $150,000 to renovate.
Well, yeah, but you still would bank on your house. You would come out ahead.
You would come out ahead.
You do need a job over there. That's the catch.
That's the thing, is you'd have to
see if Lee had it made, man. Let's just be honest. Lee, our former co-host, learned a skill where he could do anywhere. He could do it in the Bahamas. He could do it in his bedroom. He can do it.
Yet he's in Tennessee.
He can. But anywhere, the guy can go anywhere with the skill set he has. Like us, no. I'm not going over to Italy going, hey, I look at the water in sewer. They'll be like, no, get out of here. So, but once again, money.
Yeah.
If you had made enough and you could retire, I'm sure people go there. I'm just guessing, but I would imagine people go there in the retirement phase if they have money to spend and they've built some equity in their house and ready to leave it behind. It's probably not a bad idea. So, well, that was that. So yeah, I got my first shot. So hopefully you'll follow soon and we can get fully vaccinated and keep on rocking in a free world.
Yeah.
So, but didn't have any. The shot was good. I didn't get sick or anything. My arm was sore, obviously. I mean, that happens all the time when you get those shots. It wasn't too bad. It was just, you could tell you had a shot the next day, but no side effects. Now, I hear the bad side effects are possibly on shot number 2. So
now, which one did you get?
Pfizer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I had a choice, that's the one I'd shoot for.
I was like, I didn't even know. I was like, whatever, just stick some in my arm and tell me I'm good, But yeah, I did get the Pfizer one. So there's been some concerns over another one in Italy. Or Germany or Europe that it was causing blood clots, but apparently that was, I don't know. It's a weird story. Fauci,
yeah, they don't have the FDA, so I mean.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, I get it to some people. Like some people are apprehensive to get it, but I'm just like I just don't see any other way around it. Like herd immunity. I'm good, man. But we don't know much about this. It's still an ongoing thing. So here we are. Now, we did have something crazy happen in America, which kind of signals that we are almost all back to full strength, is there was another mass shooting, and this one in Colorado at a storefront where a man walked in and killed 10 people, including a police officer. Now, he was not a black man. So what do you think? Do you think he got taken alive or was he killed by the police?
I mean, I know he was taken alive.
Isn't that weird?
He did have a bullet wound in his leg.
Oh, one bullet wound.
Yeah, but
I mean, how weird is it? I get it, man. Like I get it as a white dude. I could probably do a bunch of things and not be shot by the police. I don't, not even mass murder. I'm saying just reaching for stuff in a car on a traffic stop. You're afforded that luxury. Like I've done it before. And like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm getting this. Okay, that's cool. Like I've reached into my glove compartment to get the registration while they pulled up and they're just like, yeah, whatever, bro. But you've heard stories where people were, shot and killed over that.
Yeah.
Black individuals shot and killed over that. But this just brings up, more importantly, the issue of guns in America, safety in America. It makes me think, what is the mindset of any individual that would take a gun and kill 10 people in a store? I can't wrap my head around it, dude. I can't. In my lowest points of life, I can't wrap my head around it. Like I've never thought, I'm taking, like there's people you don't like in life, right? Like we've all worked somewhere and we're like, God, these people are jerks. But I've never had like, well, I'm coming back tomorrow and I'm going to kill all these people and then go to prison for the rest of my life. Like what is the accomplishment here?
I think there's a level of the way they grew up and like a helplessness that they may have felt sometime in their life.
Yeah.
And I think power does corrupt.
Okay. Yeah. That's
on
true.
some level.
No, I think 100%. Not some levels, John.
Like let's just say if I had telekinetic abilities, we're talking about comic books later.
Yes. Okay.
Let's just bring that in there.
Okay.
If I had the ability to move things with my mind, would I trip somebody up who was being a jerk?
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Is that right? Not really, right?
Not really.
Okay. That's something little, right?
And that's something little.
Now, that's what the movie Chronicle, have you seen that one before? Okay.
Yes.
So, yes. Especially someone who was bullied their whole life, who was made fun of their whole life. I guess I can kind of say,
home life was really bad, too.
Right. So you can start to go,
he's getting it.
Right.
Yeah. And so, what he did was what he did right? And no, not at all.
Now it's kind of crazy when they've talked to people that was a nice little pop in my ear. They've talked to people that knew him and they're like, yeah, this dude was crazy like his whole life. But I always say, what are you supposed to do with that information? Hey, I work with this guy and he's crazy. I've worked with dudes where I'm like, man, you better keep. And no joke. I was like, we need to honestly keep an eye on this guy. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but there's nothing you can really do with that. You can't go to the police and go, hey, I work with this dude and he's kind of a weirdo creep. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, well, that's not against the law. So hallelujah for you on that. So it's I just don't I don't know, man. It's bizarre that this is probably going to start happening again. So what's the solution? I mean, and we continue.
I mean, there is a talk of allowing any kind of permit, not just concealed carry. And I mean, being Republican pretty much all my life, I am against, just giving anyone a permit. No.
Well, yeah, I guess you would have to fine tune that. What's that process like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the process of getting a gun? Like, is it a psychological test you're taking? Obviously, we know background check. Okay, yeah, we get that. Anyone can do that. But a lot of these dudes never got arrested when they do these shootings. So is it a full psychological? Who's going to pay for that? Like, the government's not going to pay for that. They're not going to pay for psychological tests for anyone who gets a gun. And so that's where we come into this kind of conundrum we're in. We're like, what is the solution? And I know everyone's like, yo, man, Second Amendment says we get these guns, bro, and we got our guns and all that. I just think we need to start, and it's tough. It's probably not going to happen. It's more this whole burn it down philosophy, but we need to start re-examining why we do the things we do. We got to stop saying, yo, it's always been done like that, or that's the Second Amendment or all this. And I'm not saying strip these liberties away, but it never hurts to look back and go, why are we doing this thing we're doing?
Yeah. The thing is, as far as guns go, people say it's always been done that way. Like, no, it hasn't. Because guess what? There was a time there were no such thing as guns.
Right.
So if you want progress.
Yeah.
And if you don't want progress, that means we have to take the guns away because at one point in time.
Right.
They weren't there in the first place.
It's just, and it gets bogged down with just political talk. I mean, the right's not going to bend. The left's not going to bend. And it's just like, we're hurting ourselves. And this stuff... Before, I mean, I know everyone's kind of, our minds are set a certain way to remember things. We don't really remember all those shootings that were happening before the pandemic. It was happening like every other week. We were talking about podcasts like every other week. There's been no forward progress on this. It's just it's a stall. It's like nothing is happening. And look, man, I question why do certain guns get sold? And I know people go, well, AR-15s if the government comes. Let me tell you something, guys, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. There was a group of people just recently, half-assed or not, decided that liberty and justice had been trampled upon. The Proud Boys, the Trump people, and they decided they were going to go break into the Capitol. And I think they got in there and realized, oh, well, this isn't going to work. I say the same thing. All right, you have an AR-15. The government comes in your house. Do you think they're sending one dude in there to get you? Like, really? Are they going to send one guy? No, they're going to send a whole bunch of guys in with guns. The only thing you're going to do is go out and blaze glory. If that's what you want to do, more power to you. Hallelujah. But I don't understand the AR-15s. I mean, I understand that at a time in America when the Constitution was written, we obviously needed guns for protection. It was the Wild Wild West, man. Yeah, soldiers could bust in your house in the middle of the night, and there was really no modern police force. There wasn't anybody that was going to come help you.
Well, when back then, most of the law, most of the government wasn't your own government.
Right.
We'd just broken off from the English, and at that point in time, you didn't know who were sympathizers or who were patriots.
Right.
And so, yeah, that made sense.
Right. So we need to really... I know I'm not going to get it done. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm just Joe Blow out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nobody cares, in my opinion. Probably the people listen, half of them probably care, but we've got to start having real conversations about what we can do to change this. And if it's some form of restriction, no one says they're banning guns. I don't think anyone that's reasonable has said ban guns, but we need to start looking at how many guns do you need?
Yeah.
And people don't like, oh, you come into my house. Well, dude, I come back to the car. Okay, you have a car. Now you can look at that. That's something you have the right to do. You have the right to go out and get a driver's license. You have the right to drive a car. When you get the car, you agree to certain stipulations. A, you're going to wear a seatbelt. B, you're going to have proper tags on your car. You're not going to speed. You're not going to drive intoxicated or impaired. These are all guidelines you have for the car. No one comes around and says, oh, they're stifling our liberties because all these things on the car. I mean, a car can be a weapon just as a gun can. I mean, cars probably kill more people than guns. I don't know if that's statistically true, but they both kill a bunch of people, whatever the number would be. And maybe we need to look at stipulations on guns. I mean, like I said, maybe there needs to be stricter permits. I mean, we could walk up to the fairgrounds next week if they had a gun show, and me and John could buy 45 guns. Nothing would ever be questioned. Nothing would ever be said. We would leave that with 45 guns. We could start our own Waco, Texas, and by then it's too late.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just it is a crazy, crazy time in America. Shane Morris back in the chat. Oh my God, Shane, we have missed you. He said,
Shane Morris.
Shane says, I think it's only safe to operate a gun while you're drunk, just like a car. There you go. I was literally on social media the other day going, where is Shane Morris at? I sent out a tweet. I go, where is this guy at? Because I miss seeing him on my timeline. I do.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes scroll, I'm just like, these people are.
I gotta say, Shane, after we did the 24-hour podcast, we were like, we couldn't get enough of you, man. We were like, man, that's one of the coolest people we've talked to in a long time.
It's true. So
yeah.
So I'd like to see Shane Morris.
We need to see more of you, bro.
Just sneak on Twitter, some secret account. I don't know, but a lot of people have been getting rid of their social media accounts lately because they've noticed that Chrissy Teigen came out, I think today or yesterday, and said she's going to delete her account because it's not offering any benefits. It's only a negative stimuli. You get on there, and we've noticed this. Like, you notice it, I notice it. I'm not on there as much because I get on there and it's like, oh, I'm bummed out by like 20 tweets. I'm like, I'm bummed. I'm done, dude.
Yeah.
So I've cut my timeline specifically just on my personal feed just to be people I want to follow. So, and Shane Morris is one of those people. He said, I'll come back and be a guest soon, baby. All right, well, we're holding you to that because it was Robin, update on the tornado that the warning went off, says we just got lucky. A tornado just passed us south of us near a city called Laverne. And Jeffrey said the guy that did the shooting said he was bullied. He had to do an essay of him. Wow, that's a quick turnaround essay. So yeah, all that being said, I don't know about the shootings. Hopefully we'll see what happens. I'm not very hopeful about progress. I mean, we've seen every movement just kind of stall. Even like the civil rights movement. I've been watching a lot of movies about civil rights. I watched One Night in Miami. I watched Malcolm X. I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. I've kind of been watching all these movies just for whatever reason. I don't know, just to get it in my head. And it's crazy even that progress is kind of almost stalled out. Like during the pandemic, it was wild. Like it was, and we talked about that last week, stop Asian hate, Black Lives Matter. What are you doing if you're just tweeting it out? Like, you got to be out there doing something. If you're not out there doing something or putting some monetary value to some charity or something that, like a Black Lives Matter movement, I'd say stop tweeting it, because you're false, man. You're a hypocrite at that point. So I don't know. That's that. So that was it about in the news today. I know a couple people passed away. The mother on Arrested Development passed away. So rest in peace to her. And Just Shoot Me. Richard is his name. He's on the Goldbergs, and my wife watches the Goldbergs all the time. He's the grandfather.
Yeah, my wife, George Siegel.
George Siegel passed away, and she was like, "Oh my God," because he is a funny dude, man. He was great.
I loved him on Just Shoot Me.
Oh, he was so fantastic,
funny.
And he was great on the Goldbergs too. Goldbergs is like, if you need something to watch just kind of mindlessly at points before we go to bed, it's a good little show to watch for that. It's not too corny, but it's not too serious. You can kind of just take it and. But yeah, he was great on it. So yeah, we had a couple of deaths this week, so that kind of sucked. So, did you watch the Snyder Cut?
I did watch the Snyder Cut.
All right, so we talked last week. I watched it. Now John watched it. So we didn't rank it last week. So out of 5 stars, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it 4 stars. So before you tell me your initial thoughts, and then I want to hear your review on it.
Parts that I thought were over the top, trying. Were taken out, and I was glad.
Mm-hmm.
There was a scene in the original cut where Flash lands on top of Wonder Woman.
Yes,
and I was like,
kind of lame.
Come on, man. And so that wasn't in it. They added a whole lot of Cyborg.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that they. I don't know what that's about. That seems, once again, it seems a little suspect, truthfully.
I've heard, and I don't know how much stock I can put into it, but I've heard there were issues between Ray Fisher and Joss Whedon.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And that might have something to do with it.
Which is unfortunate because he was great. I thought in the Snyder Cut. I mean, he was a great character. Okay.
Some of the scenes that I did really like were still in it. I mean, on paper it sounds cheesy, but that one scene where Aquaman kills one of the parademons and is almost surfing him down, I liked it. I don't know why. It's kind of cheesy, but I liked it. And just kind of the way he steps off of him when he gets down to the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of neat.
Okay.
But
what about Flash's end scene? Badass, right?
Yes.
Flash,
Amazing.
I'm telling you, man, I told you last week, this is a movie about Flash and Cyborg. The Snyder Cut, it is their movie.
Yeah.
It's not Batman movie. Batman's in it, but not like, I thought he was more in the Joss Whedon cut than this one.
I'd agree.
You know.
Because I don't remember that big long speech he had with Wonder Woman.
Right. So it seems to, like, I think he was setting up these minor characters. And like I said, it's a good way to tell a story, though. Like, imagine you were in the Justice League among gods, you'd be like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, I'm standing here next to Batman, who's basically an urban legend in DC. Yeah. You're standing next to Superman, who's a god, you know, and Wonder Woman, who's also a goddess. And, like, you're just some dude that can run fast. You'd be like, man, what's going on here? Like, I don't even know what's going on. But his story redemption at the end was, oh, my God, it was so good. You know, and then the end scene with all the Joker and all that. What'd you think of that?
That was really cool. I was always interested in that storyline.
Yeah.
That they are kind of rolling the dice on right there. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting to see play out.
Yeah, no, it's good. So how many stars would you give the JLA Snyder Cut?
I would give it 3.5 stars.
Okay.
Just because of kind of like what I said last week. I mean Avengers Endgame and all these other movies that are out that they've proven they can do certain things. And so you have to really raise your game. So that's why it's a 3. If it didn't have anything if those other movies didn't exist,
yeah,
I'd be with you 4 stars.
No, like I say, the cons to me, a lot of slow motion. They said 10% of the movie is slow motion.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I went, that's it? I thought it'd be more than that. I don't like Snyder's palette. I don't like the dark colors. I'm not saying it. It doesn't have to be the Avengers bright, but man, come on. You can add a little bit of like saturation to these movies, man. I mean, it's dark.
There's a fan edit of the first Justice League that brightened up all the colors.
Yeah. There's also a black and white version now. The Snyder black. Here's the second knock. It's 4 hours long. I mean, so let's just be real. That's a long time to invest in a movie. Shay Moore said, I think it's messed up that Gilbert Godfrey wasn't cast as Wonder Woman. Now we don't have any gender roles. I want him as Wonder Woman. Cancel me if you must. I don't care. There you go. All right, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. I doubt the sequel will ever be made, but my fingers are crossed because I'd like to see that. It's better than anything I think DC has going forward right now. I don't know that they have anything going forward right now, do they? I don't know. I don't know the nature of their universe right now. I think that's the problem. We have the Joker, which was with Joaquin Phoenix, alternate universe. We have Batman, Robert Pattinson, alternate universe. Like, what's going on here? Like, what Harley Quinn? What world is that in? Is that in the same as JLA? I guess it is.
I think it technically is because the same Joker.
Yeah, right.
Is in and Batman was in Suicide Squad briefly.
Yeah, he was. You're right. But Affleck's gone now, so I don't know what they're going to do, man.
And Amanda Waller was in Batman vs Superman.
Oh, that's right. It's a mess, right? I mean, it's a mess. They just didn't plan it out. They were like, let's just go, and you got to sign these people long-term deals, number one. Like, if you want Ben Affleck as Batman, you got to say, dude, you got to sign up for like 5 movies. It's probably no different than what they did with Downey. They didn't just go, hey, man, you want to be an Iron Man? Well, we'll just wing it for the rest of the way. No, they went like, dude, you got to lock this up. We need you in this movie, this movie, this movie. Yeah. We need you in like Spider-Man. We need you in Avengers. We need everything. And they just didn't do that. And maybe it's because people don't care as much. I don't know. But all that to say, we have come up to the Mount Rushmore this week. Every week we do a Mount Rushmore. We try just about every week. Some weeks we don't. But we love to do them. Mount Rushmore, if you don't know, we're listing our top 4. And this week it's female comic book characters. So they don't have to have superpowers. They just have to be presented in a comic book as a character that people would recognize. Now, some people tweeted us some odd things. Squirrel Girl. I mean, I can speak for myself. That's not going to be on my list.
She's not on my list.
But these are probably going to be more recognizable names you would imagine. We'll see. I don't know. I never know what John's list is, and he doesn't know what mine is. Yeah. So we're going to do our top 4 female, and this is in honor of what? Female History Month.
Yes.
Which is closing out. So John gets to go first this week, and the rule is John goes, I go, John goes, I go, back and forth. And once someone is selected, they're off the board. You cannot have them on your Mount Rushmore anymore. So we trade turns. John goes first this week. So John, who is on your Mount Rushmore, the first person?
I mean, when you think of comic books and females, the very first name that's going to come to anybody's mind is Wonder Woman.
Yep. All right.
I mean,
give us a little. Why is Wonder Woman on your list?
Wonder Woman is just. I mean, first of all, I believe. No, I'm not 100%. But I believe she's the first female comic book character to have her own, to be headlined in her own book.
Okay. I'll take your word on that.
She's like I said, I don't know for sure.
It sounds reasonable. Yeah.
She's neck and neck in power with Superman.
True.
She's got a decent history, origin with the whole island of Amazons that and her. Just her tie-in with different groups and just very rich as far as comic books go. And like I said, she's like the OG when it comes to. I mean, you can't talk about women in comic books without her coming up.
Okay. Well, I'll just be honest. It definitely would have been my number one choice. If I went number one, Wonder Woman, I feel is as easy as putting George Washington on the Mount Rushmore. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go with my number one, and I kind of had these 4 that I want to get in order, and I got to go with who I feel, in my opinion, that's a DC character. I think the most important Marvel female character is Jean Grey of the X-Men.
I would agree.
Jean Grey.
Of my Marvel people, she's my number one. Yeah.
So Jean Grey appeared, obviously, in the X-Men. She was one of the original 5. She had telekinesis. Actually she had telepathy. I think then she developed telekinesis. It's been a weird history to follow her. But she's always been involved with Cyclops. They're a couple. Always kind of had a thing with Wolverine, kind of this unspoken thing. It's cool. Her character was fascinating because at some point she became Phoenix, who was this ultimate God tier level powered person. But anytime you read a X-Men comic, she was always kind of like the voice of reason among all these like testosterone dudes. I mean, you really think about the X-Men, it's a lot of dudes. I mean, so any character that appears in that comic, and this is kind of the joy of it, is that they were usually strong female characters, which that's what I like about the X-Men a lot. There were no wimps and female, like there are some dudes in X-Men, you're like, oh bro, that dude's lame. But the women, I was always like, fantastic. If I was in that universe, so Wonder Woman, everybody would be in love with Wonder Woman. I mean, let's just be honest here. I think everybody would be in love with Jean Grey because of her calmness. And also, I think she's kind of that therapist role in the X-Men as well. And everybody likes to get their cares off and concerns. So my number one, Jean Grey, also known as Phoenix, is my number one. All right. So we're up to your number 2, John.
Number 2, I'm going to have to stick with the DC Universe for my second pick.
Interesting.
And also, I'm going to veer from the superhero.
Oh, boy.
And go with none other than Selena Kyle, a.k.a. Catwoman.
All right. Good one.
She's just very interesting. And that's kind of where I wanted most of my list to go, is just characters that really interest me. And, she's had different takes on her, but mostly, she's for the environment. She wants to... There are parts of her that are really good, and anti-hero aspects of her, and then obviously, I mean, there's a short list of people that could work their way into Batman's inner circle, and as far as villains goes, she's one of the few.
Yeah, that's what's interesting is that minus the Joker, she is got to be the most interesting Batman character that's a quote unquote villain. You know, I mean, of course, he's got a relationship with Robin and all those people and Alfred and all that, which Alfred in Snyder Cut was amazing. I don't think we're giving him enough respect.
Yeah,
I mean, he was fantastic.
also.
But anyway, yeah, she's fascinating. And I know we haven't talked about the movies, but so far both have been in movies. All the people. So Wonder Woman, obviously Gal Gadot, and then back in the 70s. Catwoman, best representation in movies for you.
In movies?
Yeah.
It's hard to compare them because, I mean, if you're going comic booky,
Yeah.
I'd say Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's everyone's favorite. That outfit alone was why it's everyone's favorite. Okay.
I mean, but what's her?
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. She didn't seem like Catwoman.
Yeah, she was more of a
Her
almost like a she was more of that
Catwoman. It was like Val Kilmer to Batman when he was in Batman's. He made a good superhero, but he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't Batman.
So
to
with
me.
Pfeiffer's then your answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's only really been those two, and then you had the Julie Newmar from the 1960s Batman or whatever. But
there's quite a few that played. Eartha Kitt played her at the time.
Okay, that's right. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Was there two Catwomans back
there?
There
was like four of them.
Oh, okay, I got you. But movies, really only the two so far.
Yeah.
But man, Michelle Pfeiffer, wow. If you think the movie's kind of crap, but she's fantastic in it. So, well, I will say that was also on my list, John. So far you're kind of hitting everything I definitely had on my list. All right, I'm going to go. So I got to put this person on my list. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but what they represent in the Marvel universe, another Marvel character, and a couple people mentioned her, and I said, of course, we think of it, but I'm gonna go with She-Hulk for number 2. She-Hulk she was, when she came out, the female Hulk. She is the cousin of Bruce Banner, and she got a blood transfusion, and voila, she became She-Hulk. What's interesting about her is the character is a very intelligent person as well. She was like a lawyer, so that was cool. And then she would have to transition into this Hulk-like character. So that makes the Hulk work. You want someone that's relatively intelligent to go to the opposite ends, showing. I've always thought about the duality of man. Like we can be a doctor like Bruce Banner 1 minute, and the next minute we can be this raging monster that wants to destroy the world.
The Jekyll Hyde.
Yes, the dichotomy of human nature. And She-Hulk has had some great stories. She's been very influential in the Avengers, West Coast Avengers. She had her own comic book style, which John Byrne did for a long time, where she would break the fourth wall, which was fun. It was before Deadpool and everything, but they would routinely do that. So that's a great series if you're looking for something to read. Those She-Hulk John Byrne run, it was fun because she would just look at the panel often and talk and make inside baseball remarks and things like that. And the power set's good too. You always want someone that's strong. She's had some various relationships with people, even a kind of a serious one about Star Fox, where Star Fox was on trial for sexual assault of a woman because he had this pheromone power where people would be attracted to him, and I guess they were saying the woman really didn't have any say in the matter, and he was into She-Hulk, and it's all this like heavy stuff. But I felt Marvel was really good, especially in the 80s and 90s, at addressing some of those topics that DC kind of shied away from. Like, Marvel would, talk about death quite a bit. Sexual assault was included in it, and they just had some stories about a very famous one. Fantastic Four was this kid idolized the Human Torch, and so he ended up setting himself on fire because he wanted to be like the Human Torch. It was a very touching issue, and so they've always been good about serious themes and things like that. So that's it. She-Hulk. I think when people think of female, especially heroes, they think of She-Hulk. So that's my number 2, She-Hulk. All right. You're up. You're number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to cross the lines and go over to Marvel.
All right.
This third pick, I struggled between 3 different people.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with my first intuition, my first inclination. Okay. I'm going to say Rogue.
Oh, okay. It's interesting. Wow. So yeah, you're kind of grabbing some people off my list.
Rogue is very, her backstory is shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
I mean, later, eventually, it comes out that her mom is Mystique, which is list worthy right there. She has this power / curse. She can't control it. If she touches somebody, she absorbs their energy.
Right.
And so, I mean, she kisses somebody, she can put them in a coma. And so, I mean,
and she has. Yeah.
And if she touches anyone for too long that has powers, she will actually absorb those powers, and she can't control them.
Yeah, it's a fascinating character.
She ended up actually permanently stealing Miss Marvel's strength and flight ability.
That's how she's
able to fly and have super strength in the comic books, which she doesn't in the movies because that was early on.
Not yet. Yeah.
The southern twang and everything, and
I'm glad you said that.
It really gives a more character to somebody if they have just where you can tell where they're from and everything. Gambit's kind of the same way. He's got that thick Cajun accent, and so
the reason I thought about this today because I thought Rogue kept popping up. She was always one of my favorites, And I think when you grow up in the South, I mean, for a long time, I didn't even know, this is crazy to think about, but I really never even recognized, Southern accents. I was like, I would watch a movie, let's just say whoever was in it. I mean, pick somebody at the time, Stallone or that's probably bad. He's got an accent. But anybody on a movie, I never thought, they sound different than me. And then one day I'm like, wait a minute. There's hardly any Southern people in movies and TV shows and you start to go,
back then, if there was somebody Southern in a movie, they were made to sound stupid.
And they were always evil also.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, look at Deliverance. I mean, that. So to me, when I heard Rogue, was a Southern belle with this crazy hair that I loved, I was like, fantastic. I need more Southern people and I don't know that there's any other Southern people in the X-Men besides maybe Rogue and Gambit. I mean, if you're counting New Orleans as Southern, which is, it's in the area, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, okay, good choice there. I like Rogue. Yeah, great power set, fascinating. And it's a shame the movies didn't do much with her.
Yeah, you've got a plethora of stuff to draw from, and they drop the ball.
That's true. Okay, well, let me go to my next choice, and this is a tough one because this is two sides of a coin, and I'm going with the Teen Titans. Now, I grew up, I know everybody knows the cartoon, the Teen Titans, and it's fantastic. It's funny. I love it. I grew up diehard the new Teen Titans, the Marv Wolfman comic book. I mean, I was obsessed. I could tell you all about it. Nightwing before he was Nightwing. You had Cyborg. You had Changeling, Beast Boy. You had Starfire. You had Raven. This great group of characters, and more people came and went. And I don't know, man. Every guy, are you Starfire or are you Raven? That's the question.
Yeah.
And I've just examined, and the character I like the most in those comics, I like Starfire. I just like her exuberance. I like her, anybody could be Raven, essentially. I mean, I guess a lot of us would like Raven. I'd rather be more like Starfire. We're all kind of whatever, dude. But when you meet people like Starfire in real life, they kind of blow you away. You're like, oh, wow. This is kind of contagious. Her power set's great. I mean, she can fly. She's strong. She's an alien from another planet. She came here. She has a photon blast, and she also can absorb she can learn any language by touching another person's skin. And so that's kind of cool as well. I would love to have that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing as well. And so she's been great. Now this is going to be the first one that has not been in a movie. She's been in a TV show, The Teen Titans. She's been in the cartoon, but we've yet to see Starfire or Raven in a movie yet. So it's going to be interesting when that eventually does happen.
By the way, I don't know how people feel about the casting of her in the TV show.
Yes,
I am not impressed.
Yes, you've said this to me off mic many times. So the Teen Titans show is on, what's it on now? HBO?
It's on HBO.
It was a DC streaming product.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I asked you, I was like, is this show worth watching? Because I don't want to watch any, number one, I told you I hate the WB shows. So if it's like WB at all, I'm out. I don't want to watch. I've watched, and you can't say, "Oh, you've never." No, I've watched all the WB shows, dude. I've watched The Flash.
We've talked about The Flash,
Arrow,
nonstop for the at least first 4 seasons.
Stars and Stripe or whatever that Stargirl, whatever it was called. I watched Batwoman. I just think they're terrible, man. I can't get over them. Now I watched Doom Patrol, and I watched one episode, and I was like, I'm not coming back to this, dude. I think Umbrella Academy is a better show, so I'm going to go there. So you never really had. I mean, you said it was all right, the Titan show, but you always were not happy with Starfire.
The Titans TV show triples down on trying to be dark.
Yeah.
I guess to overcome the Teen Titans cartoons.
Yes, you're right.
But and they're tied into Doom Patrol. So I mean,
yeah.
But I there's a certain aspect of I probably wouldn't use the term badass when it comes to Starfire.
Right? No.
Yeah, and that's how they try to portray her.
Badass.
And I think it's the actress that's playing her just kind of too cool for school and
which is everything.
And hip.
No, but that's
Starfire's not.
She's
hip.
an alien who comes here who does not understand the culture of this world.
She doesn't understand social.
No.
And not only is she just an alien, she's also an alien princess.
Right, yes.
Which you are not going to be subject to day. People are going to treat you differently.
Right, yes.
If you're in that role. And so you're not going to be, even your own, social conveniences aren't going to be on the upfront for you. So,
That's true. Yeah, it's just, she's a great character. You want a really great story arc to read her in, you would definitely need to go the new Teen Titans. It's Marv Wolfman, George Perez, best artist ever for Titans. She had to go back to her planet and get married, and it's a great storyline. It's fantastic. So yes, Starfire, love her. There you go. All right, John, we've come up to your last one. Now I've got some ideas, but I don't know, man.
There's a lot of them that I want to say.
I know you do. So that's why I'm curious, like, where you going to go, man? What are you going to do? Because I know you, and I know there's somebody I think should be your number 4 that I have written down. Now, I don't know if I'm going to grab him or not, but...
Well, it won't matter, because it'll be too late for me.
It's true, yeah. But if you don't grab him, I can. So.
Yeah.
John's, I don't know, man.
I also want to preface that we...
Oh, boy.
Well, we talked about it earlier. This list that we're making... is solely on the comic books.
Not the movies.
We're not taking anything that the movies have into consideration.
Amen. You are correct on that, yes.
If we were...
Yes.
Black Widow would have already been on my list.
Okay.
But she's not on my list.
Okay.
That needs to be... we need to make that known.
You're right. I mean, I would definitely have Scarlet Witch on my list, but the movie version is better than the comic version.
Yes.
Or maybe the actress is better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, that needs to be... out there. I think as far as characters alone, I'm gonna have to go with who we talked about last week, Lois Lane.
Your wife called that. She put that in the chat as you said it. That is so weird. Lois Lane. All right, well, I thought you would have went with someone else, but that's okay.
There's a lot to choose from.
We will go into the also rans, but okay, Lois Lane. Do you want to expand, or we just...
I mean, we pretty much nailed it last week. I mean, she doesn't have any powers. She doesn't have any training, no mindset for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yet still, she will go headlong to get his story.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's remarkable. And this is before, during, and after. Just it doesn't matter if Superman's around or not. It's about what she thinks is important, and nothing's going to hold her back from it.
All right. Man, I've got 2 that I want to put one on there, but it is a Mount Rushmore. But I don't know. Usually at Mount Rushmore number 4, you put kind of somebody quirky up there. You think of the Mount Rushmore. There's George Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and then
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy, which, I mean, Teddy's great, but he's kind of like a quirky addition. I'm just, oh, God. Because then
it's hard, man.
I mean, people are going to look at the list and be like, why did you put this? Why'd you put that? But you know what? I'm just going to go with who I've got listed down. This is a DC character. I love her because her image is great. She's got a great power set. Zatanna.
Oh,
Zatanna.
That's a surprise.
Yes, I love Zatanna. I
love her, but I didn't expect you to.
Yeah, no,
to go full.
Yes,
Rushmore on
I
her.
loved her in Justice League. I think her power is amazing, and that she has to say it backwards to do the spells. She is basically she's a supreme level being. I mean, she would be up there with Doctor Strange essentially. As she's really good. There's a series called I think Justice League Dark that she's in. She's in the Justice League. She was in there with. I mean, when I think of Justice League, I think of like Booster Gold, Blue Beetle. That's my Justice League. Not the 7, not the 7 in the movie. I love the second Justice League. That was kind of the Fire and Ice and Booster Gold and Blue Beetle and all these weird dudes. And she was in that, and I loved it. And the style of her character though is amazing, dude. I mean, that is one of the best designed female characters of all time, in my opinion. I mean, that look is fantastic. She looks like a magician. So yeah, I was leaning towards some other ones, but I just want to have fun.
I'm curious, who's the one that you were...
Okay, so that's it. So let me run it over, and then I'll tell you maybe who was... So John had Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Rogue, Lois Lane. I had Jean Grey, She-Hulk, Starfire, Zatanna. All right, so I was thinking about either her or Barbara Gordon. I think it's a great character, Batgirl. And she's done more as Barbara Gordon than Batgirl, really.
Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle. She's fantastic. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't do Mary Jane. I thought Mary Jane... as a Spider-Man fan, dude.
I was thinking Gwen Stacy over Mary Jane.
Oh, really?
Because
come on,
Gwen Stacy is one of the first non-origin story people to have died in a comic book that never came back.
That's true.
She had a dichotomy where she hated Spider-Man, but she loved Peter Parker.
But man, Mary Jane, the cosplay alone, man, like everyone, you go to a comic convention, you're going to see Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You're going to see Catwoman. You're probably going to see Rogue, Lois Lane. I don't know, maybe. She-Hulk, yeah, I've seen Starfire. I've definitely seen Mary Jane quite a bit. I mean, she's iconic. She's a model. That's the joy of her. She's a model married to a nerd. Let's just keep it real, okay? Yeah. That's what the joy of it is. Is the character that great? I mean, she's all right.
That's what I was going, is the interesting factor.
I get you.
Interesting wise, Gwen Stacy puts her over.
I had Jessica Jones, but more so from the series, The Defenders.
Yeah.
But she's kind of like the comic, but not quite. And then I had Raven, like I said. And
as far as Jessica Jones, I don't think there's a more tragic.
Oh, no.
Comic book female than her.
Yeah. That's why she's so great, but it's a deep cut.
Yeah.
I also I was either going to do Jean Grey or Storm. I thought
Storm was up there on my list.
I thought about it all day.
There were the three people I was struggling with for that third spot was Rogue, Storm, and Elektra.
Yeah. Storm, that Mohawk dude back in the 90s at Claremont Run, badass dude. She was
she was orphaned for most of her childhood.
Yeah.
She was claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't know about if they don't really dig into the comic books. And X-Men, there's another thing. They were actually split up into two teams, and she was the leader of her team.
Oh, she was a badass leader, too, yeah.
And so as far as leadership goes, I mean, how many other women are the leader of a group that has both men and women in it?
Rare. Now, I also thought about the Invisible Woman. She's another strong character.
Yeah,
I like her a lot,
too.
I used to read that one. So there was, it's tough to do the list because there's so many great female characters. They've done
Supergirl is up there too.
Yeah, she's all right. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've also got that dichotomy: is she or is she not the same as Power Girl? And so there's two characters in one almost.
But the movie version of Storm, what a letdown!
I'd agree.
Man, terrible. Now they kind of redeemed it. The new Storm that was after Halle Berry was all right, but Halle Berry,
Alexandra Shipp.
Okay, I mean, Ben Affleck as Daredevil was bad. Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern was bad. Halle Berry's Storm is one of the worst ones for me, like ever. I mean, it's pretty bad.
I mean, if her Catwoman wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Not really...
Oh, I forgot. That's another Catwoman. Oh, Halle Berry.
That's why I had to specify Selena Kyle. That's a Catwoman.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, there you go. That is our Mount Rushmore of female comic book characters. Hopefully, you will let us know who we made off the list. I'm sure we'll get some serious responses.
I'm sure we're going to get a lot of backlash for not putting Black Widow on there.
Hey, man, whatever. Hey. She's not one of my favorites, so you can do whatever you want to do. So that is the list, and that is the end of the episode. We survived the tornado somehow, so that was fantastic. But Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. The chat was great tonight. Hopefully we will see more of Shane Morris. And we had a bunch of comments. Wish I could have got to them all, but I kind of hit some here and there. And if you want to get more of us, you can go to bybpod.com. That's bybpod.com. That is our website where we have all of our articles up. We have all of our past episodes. You can go there, check it out, get into it, man. You'll have a good time doing it. I guarantee it. Like I said, occasionally there's articles, but all of our social media links are up there. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube page where you don't miss our live shows, you can email us straight from the website. It's all there. So we ask you to go check out the website, get on it. Follow the show, subscribe to it, tell your friends about it. Whatever you got to do, we like people when people listen. I know a lot of people listened to the last episode for the subject material. A couple people let me know they did, so I appreciate you guys listening to that. Yeah, hit that like button before you leave the chat room today. And, hopefully we'll be back next week discussing many more things. But with all that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother. And Harley Quinn.
She's all right.